Hi Wanderers, I'm Ron.
And I'm Amanda.
And this is our monthly Q&A for July.
So let's answer some questions.
So what's the first question?
The first question is, what do we pick as souvenirs when we travel?
Well, it depends on which one of us you're talking to, because we both have a couple different things. Now, you've seen Amanda's main thing she likes to get when we go traveling is stamps in her book. But
if you haven't seen that, I'll link it up there.
Right. But not every place we go has that, and so we pick up different things. Personally, what I like to pick up, and my favorite thing is to pick up hiking medallions. So I have a very cool walking stick, BSA Boy Scouts of America stick that I have covered for the most part. I've still got some spots back here, and I've got a couple I still need to put on there, with hiking medallions from the different places that we've been. So this is, for me, a cool way to remember the different places we've been, especially places that we've hiked. I also can take it with me when we go to like Boy Scout events, and just to show people some of the different places I've been blessed to be able to travel. So there are medallions on here from national parks here in the States, also from different locations when we were living in Germany. I'm not in Germany, in Europe, and traveled to Germany, around Spain. So that's my thing when we go traveling, is to look for a hiking medallion, something I can put on my walking stick and show off where we've been.
I was wondering if we lived in Germany and I forgot about it.
Maybe it's a prophetic thing. This is where we're going to go now.
So I collect snow globes. I only brought up one to show you guys. This one is from Venice. It says Venezia on it. We traveled there. I'm going to make this snow go. I'm actually going to stop collecting these because we're hoping to downsize eventually and move into an RV full time. And I can't have a bunch of snow globes around in the RV. So
they're problematic.
All right. And so our boys have actually said that they want them. So we might continue to get them, and they'll just be collectibles that the boys have. We try to get small ones. This is kind of one of the bigger ones. We try to get smaller ones because, you know, there's a lot of them. And we are going to do a video soon. We're getting a new floor in our kitchen. And when that's done, we're going to put all the snow globes back where they go on those shelves. And as we put them back, we'll talk about where we went and what we did there, where we got the snow globes. So that's what we do for souvenirs right now.
Yeah. So our second question for this video is, how do you choose what to see first?
I think that I like to pick based on my stamp book. But then I like to pick based on just what the thing is in the area that I want to see the most. So I generally look up, we have a planning video of how we do it, but I'll look up what is available in the area or what is around, generally where the Air Force sends us. We know where we're going to live, and then I start researching like a 8-hour radius around that, because 8 hours are easily doable for us in one day. And so I just start looking at what's around there and the things that sound cool. Some things I've never heard of, and other things I know I want to see. Like, you can't move to South Dakota and not go to Mount Rushmore, so that was an obvious one. So we kind of just decide what works for us on that day. I generally have a pretty big list of the things around us that I want to see, and then we just do whatever works at the time.
Yeah, I think it's generally based on what are the things you should do in that area. So like when we lived overseas, we did a day in Sevilla or Seville, and we wanted to see all the main things there, so that when you tell somebody, hey, we've been there, they go, oh, did you see this? So we want to see the things that are kind of normative, but then I like to look for kind of some things sometimes that are off the beaten path a little bit. For me, if there's anything concerned with history, especially military history, I'm almost always immediately interested in that. If you've seen our Gettysburg video that came out not long ago, I could go to Gettysburg over and over and over. It's not the best use of traveling time,
Right.
But that's the thing that interests me, and so I'm very much try to be a student of history. So anything like that is going to motivate me to want to go. And then sometimes there's cultural touchstones and things. We're going to go here pretty soon. Here local to where we are is the Pioneer Auto Museum in Murdo, South Dakota, and they've got one of the original General Lees. That's just important for me to be able to see and touch it. So sometimes it's a personal thing, but I think generally it's just We want to make sure that we are able to experience that local culture, and then being military, hopefully people come out and visit us, and we want to be able to credibly go, "Hey, here's where you need to go. These are the things you need to see," and give them tips on that. So we don't want someone to turn up and go, "Oh, I want to go see Mount Rushmore." "Oh, well, we just haven't made it out there yet." We want to go out and see those things kind of as quickly as possible, so that we're knowledgeable, because we're hoping people are going to come out and visit us, spend time with us, and we don't want to be going, "Yeah, we don't know what there is to do around here."
Yeah, and it's different being here. We've been stationed before that is not necessarily surrounded by as many things to do as there are here. And so you could stay here for a week and not do everything that there is in the Rapid City area all around here. And so we've just been slowly working our way through our list, but we also know that being in the military, we could be moved at just about any moment. And so we don't want to have regrets that we didn't go see something that we wanted to see just because we waited too long, and then the military was like, "Okay, we need you over here," and then we just missed it. So we try to take all of those things into consideration. Number 3 question is, do you tell your neighbors that you're going away? That came from my mother. I think she wanted to see if somebody was here in the house.
So yes and no. So we don't like broadcast it, obviously. Hey, we're all taking off, but obviously our immediate neighbors generally are aware. But really, one of the things we do is we get somebody to house sit for us when we're gone. Now, part of that is that we have animals. So we've got a dog and 2 cats, and the dog doesn't travel well. Not that he doesn't like to travel, but he has zero idea how to behave like on a leash, and he just kind of loses his mind. So taking him is problematic. So we have found it easier just to be able to just leave him here and get a house sitter. And you're thinking, well, that must get expensive. We are in the military, we are blessed, and so I know a lot of young airmen who live in dorms, and the prospect of getting out for a weekend and being off base is very appealing to them. I have teenagers, so I have all the same game systems that they play, and generally for a bag of Doritos and a pack of Oreos, they're willing to come house sit for us. So we're very blessed in that, but that's what we do, and actually it was very important for us here recently. We went, if you follow our Instagram, you saw we went to go on a trip to Montana, and we got about halfway there, and our refrigerator sprung a leak. Can't speak today. It sprung a leak, and thankfully we had a young man who was staying here and figured out what was going on, and he worked wonderfully diligently with
he pulled our refrigerator out, turned the water off
with one of our neighbors to stop what was going on and help us get it under control, and we came on back. And if we had had somebody in the house, I shudder to think what we would have come back to. It would have been bad. And so that's what's worked for us. And I would say that you yourself probably can find people, if you're in a college town or something like that, just build a relationship with a trustworthy in person, maybe at your church or something like that, and find someone who maybe would be willing to hang out in your house for a weekend.
If you want to, you can also put it on Airbnb or something like that. Since we are here in this area in the Black Hills, and if you know anything about this area, you know that Sturgis, South Dakota is
a little bitty motorcycle rally.
is where there is a giant motorcycle rally. And actually one of our friends who lives in Sturgis, they move out of their house for the 10 days around Sturgis, and they rent it out. And they rent it out for thousands of dollars just for those 10 days around Sturgis. And so it is something to think about, that if you're going to be gone, you could be making a little bit of money there in your house. I just heard somebody today is on vacation in Hawaii for almost a month. And so they're Airbnb in their house back in the stateside, so that they can go on vacation and make a little money while they're gone. So that is something that I would be more interested in than the other people in my family. They don't want anybody, like the boys really don't want anybody in their rooms. So that is not something we're going to do right now, but we might do it in the future.
All right, so last question is, does homeschooling your children help with travel?
Well, I think it does for sure. That is the number one reason why we decided to homeschool, was we were in Turkey when Price was old enough to start school. And if you're overseas and you're trying to get back home and you don't want to pay, an astronomical amount for a plane ticket, then you fly space available through the military. And that means first come, first serve, but based on a lot of other factors. And when school is out, everybody lines up for those flights because they're trying to get out, go see family, go visit, go on vacation, do all tons of stuff. And they're trying to squeeze it in the amount of time that school is out when you're overseas. So I was toying with it. I couldn't really decide if we were going to do it or not. And then we were stationed in Turkey and I was like, oh, for sure we're doing it. Because in the middle of February or the middle of April, if I'm like, hey, boys, or if Ron can get off, let's go on a trip, then we can just pack up and go. I don't have to worry about the school schedule. I don't have to worry about the rest of that stuff. And it has been fantastic. And then also I can tailor whatever we're doing to wherever we're going. So when we moved here, we immediately got a book on Crazy Horse and the treaty at Fort Laramie and everything that happened around all of that. The Battle of Little Bighorn is included in all of that stuff. And so while that's not exactly here in South Dakota, it is in the extended area, not very far from us. And so we've been able to say, hey, we read about this, we learned about this, now we're going to go look at this. And so I think being able to tailor what we're learning based on where we live and where we're going to visit has really helped a lot.
Well, I think the other piece that is helpful with is similar to the travel is we're not limited to go do some of the things on weekends. So if we want to go to, say, Mount Rushmore for another visit or even the first time, we can go when most people aren't going to go, and it allows us to look at and go, ooh, Labor Day weekend, I think we're going to stay at home, or we're gonna go do this, which is not a touristy thing, and we can do that touristy thing, on a Wednesday morning, which fits better. There's less lines, and so I think it allows us to be much more flexible with our travel and the when and where we want to go because we're not tied into the school schedule.
Yeah, when we lived in DC, I had it timed, well, in Maryland, just outside of DC, but I had it timed like exactly what time I needed to leave my house to get to the metro stop in Maryland that would take us into DC, and I knew when I needed to get back on that same metro to get back out to our car, and I avoided all of the rush hour traffic with everybody going to work and everybody going home from work, and we did it on a Tuesday. Because that was always the least busy day. And so it worked fantastic. I mean, you do have to be aware of some of the school schedules because I wasn't great about being aware of them. And I showed up on a Tuesday in DC and came out of the metro and there were people everywhere. And I was like, what is going on? And my friend who was with me said, it's spring break for like everybody. And I was like, oh. So we didn't get to really see what we wanted to see that day because there were a lot of people there. But so I think you still have to be aware of the school schedule, but it is so nice that we can kind of make our own schedule, create our own stuff. And then there's just so many benefits to our boys being able to explore what they want to explore and learn the stuff that they want to learn and get to do hands-on at some of these national parks and battlefields and things like that. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, and then you can say like and subscribe.
Will you put it at the bottom so I can make sure I click down here?
Yes. Oh, I don't know if I know how to do that yet. I mean, I can write the word subscribe, but you can't. You tell them to click the subscribe down there, which is below our video anyway. Okay. Thank you for watching our Q&A. If you have any questions, please put them below in the comments.
Make sure to click that subscribe button that's down below where our video is and ring the bell so you get notifications whenever we post new videos on every Friday.
See you on Friday.
See you, Wanderers.
Okay, go.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Oh.
And about the, hold on, what's it called? The treaty of a place in Wyoming. We drove out here, Laramie. Okay. And